is Will ONeal with Backyard Harvest, and he's really talking about all of the abundance that comes from all of the different homes around our region and how that is meeting the needs for food. So, Will.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Colette. My name is Will ONeal, and I'm the Gleaning Coordinator for Backyard Harvest. I'm also an AmeriCorps VISTA member. So Backyard Harvest was founded in 2008. We operate out of Moscow, but our activities take us all around the Palouse and the Lewis-Clark Valley. And we've got four main programs. So the first one is our gleaning program, which is the one I'm most involved with. So we go to fruit trees around the area, mostly, they're mostly private fruit trees in people's backyards, things like that, as well as large vegetable patches and occasionally farms. And all of this produce goes to our community through our food access partners. Another program of ours is our Gather program, where we collect and distribute garden produce from local gardeners who maybe just planted a little too much lettuce this year or something like that. We have our Grow program, which is mainly focused on education at community gardens like Koppel. And then our Shop the Market program allows EBT users to use their benefits at farmers markets. So our work this year, in the scheme of things, we were pretty lucky because our work was already pretty COVID safe, being mostly outdoors. And our main gleaning work begins in June when the cherries start to come in. So we were able to take some time between the beginning of the pandemic and then to kind of strategize and figure out, what's the safe way to do this. And so for our volunteer teams, we required masks, we had hand sanitizer available. Social distancing is very easy on a fruit tree or orchard or whatnot. We saw an increase in interest in volunteering, partly because I think some people saw that there was a more visible need for fresh local food, and because it was also just a fun and safe way to get outside and leave your house. As for our relationships with food access sites, that did require some more coordination because, especially earlier on, some of them had restricted hours or certain restrictions on what they were accepting, but we were still able to distribute all of our produce without any major challenges. And as for our produce donors, that was largely unaffected. We have some really wonderful produce donors. I think a couple are on this call. And fruit trees are still producing even with the pandemic, so that wasn't a huge issue. So overall, our organization was pretty well positioned, for pandemic work. And so this year, through our three programs, we collected over 20,000 pounds of fresh local produce, and that was mostly apples, plums, pears, squash, and cherries, and a variety of other garden produce. We had over 160 individual volunteers who contributed more than 900 hours throughout the various activities that we do. And we worked with over 100 produce donors in the Palouse in the Lewis-Clark Valley. And so all of this allowed us to distribute the fresh local produce to over 30 food access sites in the region. And those sites are anything from food pantries to school meal programs to senior meals, fire relief efforts, all sorts of things that connect food to the people who need it. So going forward, we all know the need for fresh local food that is accessible is not going away. And I think what's clear from this year and this conference is that there's a great need for coordination between organizations with similar goals and partnerships between groups that are doing similar work. We love to work with even more groups to get more produce, more diverse produce in more areas to different people. And as always, volunteer support is huge. We had a great turnout this year, and we're always open to more volunteers. So if you're interested in volunteering with the gleaning program or the gardening or distribution, or if you have a fruit tree or a vegetable patch or anything else that you'd like to register to be gleaned, you can email me. And we're also recruiting new board members for Backyard Harvest. And so I'll put the contact information for that in the chat afterwards. But please feel free to reach out if you're interested in any of that. And thank you so much for your time.
So we've got a couple questions here. Did you all see an increase in usage of the Shop the Market program in 2020?
That is a great question. And I actually didn't have too much to do with the Shop the Market program, so I wouldn't be the best person to answer that question. Unfortunately.
No worries. How about how does Backyard Harvest deal with wormy fruit, and are there any type of workshops for property owners to deal with these types of things or other things?
So that's something that we're really interested in working on, because we see a really wide variety of fruit. There's some places we go and just the fruit looks like it could be in a grocery store tomorrow, and other places where the trees need a little love. And so that's something we're working on for the coming years, is helping educate our produce donors in the community about how to maintain their trees so that they get the best produce, and so that the produce that we're taking to our food access partners is the best produce that we can take.
How about are there any efforts to teach any type of foraging or eating weeds type of workshops with Backyard Harvest?
We haven't to date done anything like that, but that's certainly something we could explore. There's so many fruit trees in the area that just with fruit trees and some vegetable patches, we find ourselves with quite a bit of produce. So
thank you.
Thank you to all of our Production Ignite presenters. Just to let you know, we did record all of those presentations, and we will have them posted on the Foods Coalition